Alright. Hey, Ben 10 fans. Hey, my name is Chaz. Do you like this new intro? So, in this what if, is what if Ember that you see before you was in Ben 10? So, yeah, he basically. And I tried to make him more accurate to his people thing. Like, them. But yeah. So let's begin with when he was born. He was, or he has a sister. That's, yep, her. She's his sister. So, yeah. But he was being like too helpful, too afraid to throw a first punch. As his own species, except for his sister, or their species, despises him in their own village. So, yeah, they think that he's different from the rest of them, because that he is not. But his powers, he has every power, or every alien inside of him, like every genetics, from something that's super tiny to something really big. And he could move fast, and he's a high intelligence. Like he, but the only thing that he, they, one thing that they despise about is that he is always too shy to. So, yeah. So his sister decides to tell him, how about you should join Ben 10? As that's one day. So, as he says, okay, just for you, sister. Just, okay? As he joins in, like, Ben 10's team, as a couple days have passed, and of course, during that time, this is he gets despised by a lot of other creatures too, other plumbers, except for Ben and Gwen and Kevin and his own sister. And so but he does be liked by the girls from female way bad to Arjo. I don't know if I said that right. The Rojo. So, yeah. But one day, Max Tennyson, or one of the plumbers, let's say Max Tennyson, asked Ben and him to go into investigate the disappearance of his species. So they went like deeper and deeper, as he has super hearing, so he could hear his own people scream, and so he got separated. And then from Ben 10. So Ben 10 and got kidnapped by mystery capturers. So yeah, he basically went and, of course, he was by himself. He looks around trying to look for Ben, but he not stumbled, but he looks in the front and sees a biggest door that he ever seen. So he takes a peek through it, as what he saw was his own people in a cage with Ben Tennyson but at the same time he sees Summoner. So Anne was working with her was the Holy Night, or Forever Knights. So yeah, and he, or in the first part that I said that he gets liked by all the girls, like from there to there, but he gets embarrassed. Like his face is, he gets embarrassed by just talking to him, except for talking to his sister. That's so, yeah. So he decides, or he's thinking about how will he, as he used his stretchy, or like his, kind of like what his sister does, Hmm? Just sneak around, or but there was a lot of forever nights. So he was being the bull in the china shop, or not. So he decides to walk in, as he says, "Huh? No wonder why you guys were here in the first place." As some of them thought he was the behind it, as Summoner turns, earns, because she was explaining what their plans were, but he walks in and he says, "Huh, is that your plan? Seems pretty pathetic to me." As he used his arms, like he stretched both of them, and like he's literally smacking the Forever Knights around, slamming them down, and like he took care of all of them really fast. So she runs to the control panel that was holding the cage. As let me remind you, their cage inch was above lava, like a pool of lava. So yeah. So when she pressed the button to let the cage go, he looks over and he actually ran over and used his body thing. He clamps it on, and he literally yeeted and back to, or like pulled it up. As his body's on a, so the one or two like Forever Knights went in and tried to attack him. So he was like, "I don't have time for this." As he, because the reason why they don't like him, because he was a whole different breed. So he decides to use like heat blast his arm as he's trying to hold it, and as he picks them up, or like holds them, and like as he remembers a little game that he used to play in his dreams. Okay? As he tells them, "Hold on," as he swings his arm back, or like, and forth, or back and forth, as he lands it, nailed it, as yeah, he lands it. Pretty good hit. And his own sister's like, huh, you do a pretty good job. And Lennon's yeah. As the summoner has or whoever that chick has the key. As he used his own body, shapeshifts his own body into a key, or like his finger, puts it right in, turns it, and trying to, as he decides to do something really crazy. He's trying to unlock this stupid thing, and he also is fighting off bazillion and of or millions of Forever Knights when he's using his legs and or his other arm, and so he decides to capture all the villains, as he says, heck with this, as he used pyro, to melt it. As his people were, as he says, what's that clicking sound? As he asks, as she says, oh, it's the something that we cooked up. It's a explosive. As she's freaking out, or all of them are like, so bye-bye. As he says, you're not going anywhere. As he grabs her, he still has his legs like surrounding the entire as he says, what should we do? What should we do? And he says, how about Restavia run? And so she says, you're crazy. We won't leave you. And he says, well, if I know that I'm trying to hold the Holy Knights, or Forever Knights. I keep calling them Holy Knights. Forever Knights, and her from escaping. As he says, as he looks over and he sees a jail cell, as he used his own body through Summoner in first, and then through the Forever Knight. And he also used weld tool, or like his pyro, because the cage wasn't meant for any normal creature. It was meant for every creature. It was pretty big. So he lifts it up, as he sees the problem of how. So he decides to be a rhino, or being a bull in a china shop. So as they know that he so they he or he told it it's right through those walls. But why? As he says, that's good. As he says, stand back. As he says, okay. As he starts urging with the like a cage on his back, and he's like slamming his own head. He literally broke every wall. As they're like, what the heck? As he's like, huh. As he sets a cage down, hung outside, as he like wipes his forehead, because he was basically bleeding from his forehead. Like some of them, like he can't believe it. As he's the chief of them, says, huh, if he didn't throw a punch at first, but seems like we got wrong. As his own sister is like, yeah, but he has thrown a punch before. Or remember that like creature attack? The one that looks like the spider? Yes. The one that the so they decided, or he decides, or because she tells him the story of, or his backstory of how he saved her life by, or he says, get away from my little sister, you big dumb jerk. Boom! As he literally hits it. So, yeah. So they come out through a big opening that he made with his forehead, or with his head, and from that explosion, or they all like went with him. As so, yeah. Then when he says, ouch, that's gonna flip and feel in the morning. As so, everyone's like, yay, we're alive. As he, thank goodness no one got hurt. As they turn around, as they see only the person that really got hurt was him because of his blood. So they're like, whoops. As he says, no big deal. Well, as he like literally put a giant band-aid on his head, and 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 he healed himself too. So yeah, he's like, huh, don't worry about me. As he looks at Ben, ready to go back to HQ or as he says, sure. Hey? As they like captured, or actually he says, well, a summoner is running away. As he looks at the summoner, as he reaches over, grabs her entire body, says, where are you going? As he like stretched, or like he basically retracted, setting her down. I don't know. As he says, huh, that was fun. As he's absolutely yeah, so Ben's like, huh. And what the heck? Eh? And he says, hmm. As they got back, or like when they were walking back, Ben decided, or tells him that, you know, that when we get back, there's probably gonna be like those like she-male, or no, not she-male, sorry, those girls, the ones that you were embarrassed about. As he gets like turns lot red, like his entire body, and as every single one sorry, every single one of them starts laughing at him, like as he says, reason why then I get so embarrassed is because of the other girls except for my own sister. I don't mind talking to my own sister, mister, you jerk. As he stretches his arms out and he literally hits Ben in so hard. And as yeah, as they had their like jaws open, like, and as I was gonna have a drawing panel thing of Ben literally getting knocked out by Ember, hers. So yeah, and as he's like So, as he says that, that's why he, as his own sister knows that every time so she walks over to Ben and she says, "Please don't make my big brother mad." And then, so he decides to walk over and tells him that, "I know that we all thought you were different from us, but guess it's just your appearance. Sorry about that, okay?" As he was the father of him. So, yeah, or he says, "I'm very proud of you. But next time, hold your fists against, okay? Ben, okay? Or anyone who, yeah, because as someone actually gave him, or like, actually, he says, and we don't mind in you having to talk to women, okay, or girls from different species." As he's turning red again, and as, yeah, so as he's red as a tomato, or he's a lot redder than like his face was like, holy crud. So, yeah. And so when they got back, as when he was walking, and one of the prison cells contains her, as she says as this, "Hey, cutie pie." Hey. As he becomes more red as a tomato. As she loves it when he gets more red. As everyone in the prison cell and plumbers even were laughing. Like, and plus, he was like, he always, as different reasons why every girl likes him, because they all have a same reason. Because he's cute, he's cute, he's adorable, and he is too kind heart. So, yeah, but she says that to him is like, every girl that's in the, like, probably prison cell, well, was starts calling him that as he covers his own face of how red his face is, as some of them, like her, says, did the honey bunch of oats turns into a tomato? As he's way more red than anyone. So, sorry about that. So next, they went to a null void. Because to see what's happening. And, or actually, Ben was teaching him how the around the null void works. Or how each dimension, or each one, is different. So, as all the Waybats were chasing them, as, yeah, only person that grabbed him was female Waybat. As when she saw him, she immediately had tears of joy. So she did like the same thing in as, because, you know what's funny enough? He could understand every, like, or alien language. So, yeah. As he says, oh, I'm just, of course, he becomes more red as a tomato again, because when she was roaring, she actually said, "Hey, cutie pie," as that's a translation thing. And she also says that, and I'm doing a translation one. So she says, "What did you, or what, why are you here?" As he says, "Well, I am here because," as he points to Ben 10, and, or he says, Ben 10 is showing me around. How plus, is there a mission too? As Ben 10, or Grandpa Max sent Ben 10 in. Sorry about that. So the they sent Ben and him to a null void because of electrical disturbance. Like, basically, so they went in and they saw, of course, female Wayman and knows that they so she takes them to where they were going. So basically Ben and him were riding on her shoulders. Sorry. I just had to try to think about that. So yeah. They got on and in his own head he's saying like as it was Guyver, let's say Guyver was trying to build a machine to try to copy every DNA in a no void in to place into the Nematrix. So, yeah. So he says, thank goodness. As his own, like, he was, or when he was, like, going, like, walked right in, his phone starts going off. And so he answers it. Who it was? It was his sister is calling him. Like, telling him that they are, or her father, or their father, wants him back to be back to part, or be a part of the village. As she tells him that he knows, he knows that because of your appearance. So yeah, as he says, I'll be right there, but I'm on a mission, okay? So, okay. As her father was there, as he says, I'm going to do it right now. As he says, well, I'm in a no void, so don't worry. I'll be alright. As a ditto dogs like them, those found him, and he says, I'm gonna, like, and And then Tony ran back. As she's saying, "What's going on?" As he says, "It's the predators of Ditto." No. And so he hangs up before puts it inside of his pockets. He starts run as yeah. He's literally like turned back, or like he literally charged, like he made a giant U-turn or small U-turn, and so yeah, he basically he stampeded right through the army of those, knocking them all out. As he's like saying, "That was fun. Now let's move on." And Ben's like, "Yeah." And he explains what those creatures were to him. And he says, "You're pretty fierce." Hmm. As, yeah. Surprisingly, no one asked him out on a date thing. Not Ben, but him. So, yeah. So they decide, and as he sees Guyver, or the, not Guyver, Guyver, the, let's see, no, that's not it. That's not it. The, this guy was like creating a machine thing with him and him. So then, now got back to the spot. So they were like, looks like Ben has made it through. And yes, he has new play toy things. As he's like, gets embarrassed. As Ben, and like, that's not what he meant. As he says, "Well, I thought he meant like toys, the like kids' toys thing, Barbie dolls or something." No, okay. So yeah, next they see him, so they captured them, and when he was walking back, and he ends up um, like so because his body was already immune to cold and ice, or no, ice and fire, because his body is actually one giant forge, so he can handle the flames and cold and all that stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. And before they left, or before Ben and him left, female Waybad actually roars and says, "Goodbye, sweet pea." And she likes to, or I think every girl that really likes to see his adorable face becoming like so like red like a tomato. That makes him even cuter. So yeah, even her like so Gwen is like, huh, just why are you so interested in him? As she says, well, as he's kind and he knows how to like defend. As she remembers when they first met, and the he he saved her life by using his own arms. As he says, huh, that's okay. As he as when he got back, and there's a lot of debates about who's the right girl for Ben 10 to date thing, because there's so many of them, like her and like everybody, all the girls. So, but him having that same thing, he he's like he gets too embarrassed when, but when he came back to a visit with him, and he says, huh, his as his own sister says to him, what do they call you again, sweet pea? As he gets more embarrassed as, huh, well, what's about that word that does that to you? As he says, well, it's basically if it's like they start calling me that after they and I can never tell why. As she labels like how many like things that he has done. So he says, or no, she says, or she's using her fingers. So she says, you're kind, you're sweet, you're cute and etc. etc. And he has the same face thing. Like, he's turned around and like he's covering his own face because how embarrassed he is. As his own sister says, "Don't be embarrassed. We all know that you." Okay, so they decided. You know what they decided on, or no, or actually, back at the prison, every like female villain, and because and the way bad or female way bad is talking about him. Like, okay, if one of us had to go date him, who would it be? As one of them or all of them starts arguing about like their reasons, as female or like female way bad says, as in her head, it would be me. So as she roars at them and like does that, as the policeman says, as that, what are all this commotion about? Go to sleep. As she says, well, we're just fighting over the who would be his, or who's that guy, or that new guy, the one that Ben's training with, or training. As they, or one of them says, oh, the Ember, that's his name. That's a cute name. As all of them says that, as they start trying to yell at each other. So they know that they're just arguing of who will get him. So yeah. And please wait for part 2.